Brian Logan. Brian, are you on vacation? I know you said you were taking some time off so that you could fully appreciate fall camp. Are you in vacation mode right now?
I'm not there yet. Almost. I have a couple more hours before I clock out, and then I will be clocked in to vacation. So I'm definitely excited about that. Then I'll start sneaking my way through the holes and getting past the security guard so I can get on the field every day.
Just act like you know what you're doing.
Right.
What's the thing that gets you most excited about going to practice today, Brian?
It's got to just be the newcomers. I obviously it's a secondary to take a look and see at, what we've been talking about. It's so much hype this whole off season with the newcomers and some of the JC guys and just the development of the current guys there, just seeing them finally being able to be together as a whole, as a group, and see how well they're going to do. And then, kind of just check out the new guys, some of the young guys, some of the JC transfers, just their body types, how big they really are. We all know on paper everybody's 3 inches taller and 20 pounds heavier.
You
so
never did that.
I didn't do that. I talked to Coach Mendenhall about that. I said, hey, look, NFL scouts, I need to at least be 5'9", and he said, hey, I can't lie for you. You're just you're too short. There's no way that we can put extra inches on for you. But, just seeing guys like that and seeing, you hear Black Mino runs a 4.3, just to really see if they really run a 4.3, if they really are 6 foot, whatever. That's probably the most exciting thing.
Brian Logan, 5'8" on paper, but 6'8" in our hearts, joining BYU Sports Nation.
Yes.
Yeah, you like that?
I do like that. I do like that.
Okay, let's talk about the one thing that you're most anticipating watching when practice starts today. Like, you get there, you're taking it all in. What's the first thing you're looking for?
First thing I'm looking for is I'm seeing really just the new guys, the newcomers, and how fast they're able to pick up the speed of either the game from the freshmen coming in or the speed of practice. Can they pick up the playbook? How fast can they pick up the plays and translate that to the field? Those are, I think, the biggest things that I'm looking for. So, overall, to sum that all up, I'm looking for the potential. I don't expect the new guys and the freshmen coming in to just be all-stars. If they are, then great, fantastic. But I'm looking to see, looking at those small details to say, okay, this kid maybe he's messing up right now, but man, in a couple of weeks or a year or two, he's going to be fantastic. So I'm looking at more of that potential and what they can offer, a couple of weeks down the road or a couple of years down the road.
We've talked a lot about these newcomers the whole year in this conversation. Who's the one newcomer who needs to be the biggest impact player for BYU right away, Brian, in your opinion?
I would probably say it has to be somebody on the receiving core. I mean, there's tons of them. Who I would want it to be?
Sure.
I would like Nick Kurtz to be. I would like him to be the guy to step up. He's had a spring ball under his belt already, so he's been acclimated to the system, the tempo of the offense. He's had some time to build that relationship with Taysom, but it has to be somebody has to step up and fill that role of Cody Hoffman. Taysom has to have a go-to guy, especially with him trying to evolve into more of a passer this year. It's got to be one of those guys. But I mean, there's 3-4 guys, new guys on the receiving core that can ultimately step up. So I definitely like those chances.
Brian Logan with us on BYU Sports Nation, former BYU cornerback and now BYU TV analyst. This tweet in from @Y4Life, Brian. We asked the headline for BYU Sports Nation after the first 2 practices, and he says it will be all offensive line pass conditioning tests. Entire team passes academic hurdles. Let's talk about the conditioning and specifically the offensive line. What was that like for the big boys getting ready for fall camp when you were a player?
Well, you know what? When I was a player, and you had the conditioning test first in the morning, and then and then afternoon you have practice. Our conditioning test was just running the Y, and you had
that was it.
That was it. That was it, man.
Huh.
Out of everything, all the new changes from the uniforms to the iPads and all that good stuff, that was one thing that I can say, with a smile on my face, that we got away with. We were spoiled in that area. The linemen and the skilled players, certain positions, you just had to meet, hit your time. I think for DBs, skilled players, receivers, it was like 25 minutes, and obviously we were coming in like 18 minutes. If you're trying hard, if you were just lagging and walking up, you would get in like 23, 24 minutes. So everybody was usually making. You had to literally try not to make it. Try not to make your time. So it wasn't a big deal. But now these guys are doing a beat test.
Yeah.
And they're about 20 yards away, and they have to hit their time or pass the yard mark before the next beep, and obviously it increases as the reps increase. So that's a struggle. I've heard guys passing out and throwing up, and it's a true conditioning test. You can I did it a little bit when I went and played arena football, and you could tell who was sitting on their butt all day eating Cheetos and who was working out. I mean, guys were hurting. So but it's different times for different positions. So they're a little bit kind when it comes to the linemen. They're understanding with all that weight they have to carry around.
So some guys eat Cheetos and sit around, and some guys actually work out and eat Gushers. That's just kind of the difference, right?
That's what it is, man. Gushers. I can't eat Gushers no more. Actually, I got too many.
What
cavities.
happened?
I gotta go.
Cavities.
I got too many cavities, man. I don't know.
You've changed. You've changed, Brian.
I switched to Smileys though. Smileys are a little bit easier on my teeth, so and a little bit cheaper. They're a little bit easier on my pockets too, on my wallet.
Brian, you've walked us through kind of the morning. You ran the Y back in, I believe, 2009 when you first started as a JC transfer. The beep test this morning from BYU in the indoor practice facility. Then you get out to practice. You're a newcomer. You're Harvey Jackson to this year, someone who BYU expects to maybe contribute in the secondary. How long did it take for you to displace guys who had kind of been there and knew the system to where you could start against Oklahoma?
Well, it's the newcomer practice is very unfortunate. I can say that now because it's what we call EDDs, which is your everyday drills, and I would probably say 80% of the guys, football players throughout any program, doesn't really matter. EDDs is probably the hardest period of practice, and if you're it's specific to your position. So you're doing DB drills, backpedaling drills, things like that. But it's really fast. It's a high tempo pace type of a period. Could last 10 to 15 minutes. You're really worn out of breath by the time you're moving to the next period. And so these newcomers, when they come in, they're doing EDD. They're doing that drill, that period. And so they're going hard for about 15, 20, 30 minutes. And then they have a little 5-minute break, and then the vets come out, and they got to do the same period again. They go through the stretching. They just now have it with the group, and the whole entire team is out there. So when I did that, I was like, wow, my knees are all messed up from the Y. Then I come and do the newcomer practice, and obviously as a rookie, as a new person, you're trying to ball out. You're trying to impress the coaches. You're sprinting to everything. Not knowing to save and conserve your energy. And so by the time the guys come back out, you are just done. You're done with football. You want to quit. You're done with life. You scratch your head and you're like, why am I doing this right now? Done with life, man. And it's a horrible feeling, a horrible experience. But it's funny. I mean, you see those guys and they're just out of it. They're done and ready to pass out. So it's definitely challenging for a newcomer.
Brian Logan with us on BYU Sports Nation. You can follow him on Twitter at BrianLogan7 for more insight there. We'll ask you about the Twitter battle you have going on with Jerem in just a moment.
Oh, is that still a thing?
Yeah, but first, let's talk about the guys you've been working out with, the secondary, the defensive backs. From your conversations with them, how do they feel entering fall camp?
They feel good. I think they feel good and excited. I think they something that I like is that they felt nervous, and they felt, I don't want to say scared, but I would say a little bit nervous. And I like to hear that. Some fans may be like, what, wait, why are they? You shouldn't be nervous. But it's the vibe that I got in the conversations and what I took from it was, it was a nervous of failing, of not wanting to lose and wanting to dominate. And which is why they were working out, 2 to 3 times a day. Like I said before, by the time they got to me in the afternoon, it was their 3rd or 4th workout. And so I loved it because fear drove them to want to be successful, to get in as much work in as possible, in the last 2 weeks they had of free time. And so I think, that those last 3 weeks, 4 weeks that they had, just grinding, sweating, and bleeding, is really going to translate to the field and really translate to, this fall camp, especially these first couple of days. And so, they're excited. They're ready to hit people. Some of the bigger guys like Rob, just ready to take his frustration out. A guy like that loves to hit. You can only keep him caged up for so long before he's ready to unleash and knock somebody's head off.
Yeah, Brian. I'm hearing 3 or 4 workouts, and I have to interject because the question that comes to mind is: can you over prepare? Can you burn yourself out before fall camp starts?
You can, but football is very challenging sport to train for. It's not like basketball where you can shoot 500 shots and be fine the next day, or even shoot 300 shots before the game and still not be worn out. But with football, you kind of have to be very careful with not overlifting and speed work and things like that. But those guys did a good job of breaking out their workouts. For example, they would do a pool workout in the morning time, which is very great on your body for recovery. In the middle of the day, they would lift weights. And then by the time they get to me, and then they're just doing strictly agility drills. So, ladder drills, we're not going too far. It's quick bursts, 10 yards the most these guys are going. And then maybe later on, that night they're doing, some yoga or they're doing some ab workouts. So, most of these workouts that these guys were doing, could really have been done in 1 or 2 settings, but they decided to break it out and extend each section a little bit longer, allowing them to really maximize the potential when it comes to gaining strength, speed, and agility. So the way they were doing it was totally fine. They weren't being true meatheads and just wearing and tearing their bodies out.
Brian Logan with us on BYU Sports Nation. You declared war on Jerem on Twitter last Friday. You called it a Beat Jerem Friday. How is the progress?
It's always a Beat Jerem Friday. Every Friday is a Beat Jerem Friday.
Okay.
I'm actually doing good. I'm about 4 or 5 followers away from 2,500.
Yeah, you're 5 away. That's tremendous. Let's get Brian to 2,500 right now. 5 of you at Brian Logan 7.
I need 5.
Listen, Brian, we can't have Twitter mutiny. Everyone should just follow all of us. Why is it me versus you? Because I will win. I will win.
You're not going to win, man.
I'm up almost double, dude.
Hey, all things are possible through Christ who strengthens.
That's right.
And,
he has nothing to do with this Twitter battle.
He has everything to do with it. He's going to help me gain some more followers, and I'm going to overcome. Look at David and Goliath, brother.
Listen, this is just a challenge in your life that you're just going to have to accept. I appreciate the attempt, but everyone follow all of us. How about that?
Do you mean accept or do you mean overcome? Because
I don't want this to be a sore spot in our relationship.
I'm still gonna love you after I beat you. It's all good, man. It's not a problem. It's really up to you if you can, be in the room with me after I have more followers.
Here's what I appreciate about you. You're still a cornerback after you graduated.
Yes.
You're still a corner. I love it.
Beat the world mentality.
I'm lining up. I'm about to go out and try and catch a pass, and you're jawing away. You're still a corner.
Nope.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah. I don't care how many times. You could beat me for 3 touchdowns. I'm still going to be talking Messi.
And that's what makes you great.
Brian, we just heard you're only 2 followers away now from 2,500.
Ooh, uh-oh.
Let's
Get in there.
Live update.
I'm going to celebrate.
Yeah.
I'm going to celebrate when I
Brian
get
Logan,
2,500.
ladies and gentlemen. Hey, we'll talk to you later at practice, man.
All right. See you guys.